Oh, cool. I got more time. All praise this law. So I was saying to myself and to those that surveillance me and sharing it with the public that may not have pay-per-view money, that not all, and I don't want to be the person with the channel that has to say, not everybody. Come on. That's obvious. So why the fuck I should have to say that shit? Just to appease you. Generation, there's some people in Generation X that were envious of the peer groups, the peers in their group. They were envious because some people waited to have their children later in age. At a later age. Some Generation Xers, we had a high rate of teenage pregnancy in Generation X. Some people decided to have their children as teenagers. Some people decided to have their children in their early 20s. Now, I do know my generation well enough to know that a lot of us keep it real and to say, hell yeah, I wish I would have waited. You may be the ones that ain't amongst the envious. But there's a remnant that was envious of people that waited because they seen the results of the people that waited children. And some of these hoes even coveted those children. Some tried to kidnap them like a Lifetime movie. I mean, some bizarre ass shit came out of Gen X because it's technically the unknown. You don't know what the fuck all this shit about to be, basically. And I remember when the government would talk about that shit when they realized we were Gen X. They didn't know what the fuck was going to come out of it. Crack came out of it. I mean, HIV came out of it. So much shit came out of it. We came through a really slaughter situation. And a lot of us ended up being a victim to that slaughter because of the disobedience of us to the baby boomers. There's some baby boomers that ain't shit. Just like there's some Gen Xers that ain't shit. Or whatever generation that ain't shit. There's always people that ain't shit. Regardless. However, it's the disobedience that made some people in my generation rebel and buck and say, I'm going to have my baby. Madonna got that song, Papa don't preach, I'm in trouble deep. Papa don't preach, I've been losing sleep. I made up my mind, I'm keeping my baby. I'm gonna keep my baby. Remember Papa don't preach? Papa don't take no mess. And more than likely in that song, her Papa didn't take no mess because the song was saying Papa don't preach. I don't want to hear that shit. I'm going to keep my baby because of some dude that may not be in the baby's life right now because he was a deadbeat, a dud, a no-show. It's true. My mother made me get an abortion. She made me get an abortion. And guess what? I could have bucked her because my baby father lived alone technically because his mother left him and his brother to fend for themselves basically, but they had a roof over their head and she didn't do it in what people would say would. No, she just worked a lot. And it was easier for her to stay certain places because she would hold down like damn near 4 jobs at a time. So you got a woman, she was a Virgo, she's a Virgo. I mean, shit, 4 jobs at a time. You got these boys, they're in high school. It's her house, technically, that was with their dad. But I ain't never here. I gotta work all kind of hours, 4 jobs. And I'm not exaggerating. So she would make sure the lights was on, the gas was on, and they had to fend for themselves as far as food was concerned because she just didn't have the time. So if I technically wanted to move with him, I could have. And keep my baby, I'm gonna keep my baby. Oh, mama, don't preach. I'm in trouble deep. Mama, don't preach. I've been losing sleep. I made up my mind. I'm keeping my baby. I'm gonna keep my babies. Oh, oh. Because, honey, I was in love as far as I thought. And I got pregnant twice. Once with twins, and his mother was a twin. So she was all game for it. Because her twin got murdered or something. So it was sentimental for his mother. I got pregnant twice. We would have technically had 3 children. My baby daddy of my son that I waited to have in my 30s because I was obedient to my mother to not have no children with this boy that I was head over heels for. Puppy love for real. I got pregnant at 15 and 16 years old. The first time was the hardest time because I got connected to the children because my mother had to come up with the money. I did hair. However, I didn't make enough because I was only charging like $20 for anything kind of shit. And at that time, abortions maybe was $250, $350. The time frame from when I found out, because I missed my cycle and was getting sick as a dog, I had to figure it out that I was. So my mom worked, but she was a single mother because crack cocaine took my father out of the household. So she got to get the money up. However, this is not a part of her plan because she got bills that she got to pay. I was a considerate child. I don't give a fuck about getting pregnant. Because if I wasn't, I wouldn't be able to tell the story like I'm telling it right now. It's not because I'm telling like that because I'm older. I'm telling it like that because I was considerate. That's why I was obedient. So she had to get the money up for the abortion. But I got connected to the child because I had to wait to get it because she had to get the money up. I was getting sick, so I couldn't really do hair like I wanted to no way. So I couldn't help her out. So she would leave the receipt to the abortion on my dresser, and I would have to pay her back. The first time it was hard because, like I said, I was pregnant longer. So I'm sitting in the tub seeing my stomach grow. Because the second time we got right on it. The first time I didn't know, so it was kind of long, lengthy. And before I know it, I was getting connected, and she got to get the money up to get it. And my stomach started going. I'm like, Mom said, come on, my boyfriend. I love him. And he was calling her crying, and she used to say, nigga, you don't got a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of. Stop calling my phone. So she would, snooze, put him on snooze. And then I would have to put myself on snooze because I saw she was not budging. Now, I could have opted to go live with him, because his mother wasn't as strict as my mother. Plus, she liked me, and it was just doable if I wanted to be disobedient to my mother. And I was doing hair, so I could have made some money. And his mother worked 4 jobs, and she was a Virgo. She would have helped me out. And he had a sister that loved children. So I had a babysitter. This is real life. This is facts, bro. This ain't no bullshit. I could have said, fuck my mother and been aight. But I ain't about to be disobedient to my mother. Because disobedience gonna get me sacrificed. And I ain't sacrificing shit unnecessarily when I already gotta do that to be a goddamn adult. So I opted to be obedient because obedience is better than sacrifice at the end of the motherfucking day, and it's gonna win every time. I wouldn't give a fuck what you talking about. Especially when it comes to your parents, and if you have wise parents, and like I tell people, most parents you can say are wise because most parents, if you just want to put them in a box and say they're going to give you advice that's more suitable for them coming out as winners more than you coming out as a winner. And when I say that, I mean it ain't going to be costing them money. They ain't going to get stuck holding the bag. None of that shit. They're going to give you advice that's gonna make them have a lighter load. Whether you consider them loving you, abandoning you, they was a crackhead, whatever the fuck you want to say, they're gonna give you advice that's more beneficial to them. And if you're under their roof or they're taking care of you in any kind of way, your best bet would be to roll with what's more beneficial to them until you can fend for yourself. So it would be wiser on a child's part to just be obedient. Because they're not going to tell you anything that's not beneficial to them. Do you understand what I'm saying? You're their child. If they give you bad advice, it's going to fall on them. So 9 times out of 10, if it got anything to do with money, anything to do with you coming out on top so you don't end up being a burden to them, they're going to give you that advice. Regardless whether they're a crackhead, regardless whether they abandoned you, they were neglectful, any of that shit. It doesn't matter. They're going to give you advice that's more beneficial for them. So your best bet is to listen to them. Period. I don't give a fuck what you say. I don't give a fuck how you try to slice it and dice it and manipulate it and fuck it up the ass. And mind fuck yourself. I don't give a damn. Obedience is always better than sacrifice, period. So I was more obedient to my mother. Whether it hurt or not. Whoever it hurt, it didn't matter. I was her daughter. She was responsible for me, and more than likely, the daughter bears the weight of the responsibility in a dynamic where we're not married. He's just a baby's daddy. With all that I had going on, I had my son's father, his mother was a Virgo. That's plus. His sister was a babysitter. That's a plus. And a house to live in. Just I'm not exaggerating. It could have been made to happen. And I may have came out all right. However, I'm living in my mother's roof. I don't want to move for real if I keep it real with myself. My clients come here. I love my mother. This is my house. My dad bought this house. This is a house that's more comfortable and suitable for me. So it's just more intelligent to be obedient to my mother. I ended up having a child by the same dude. I got pregnant again with twins. Same result. You was not keeping those babies. And she thought it was just another pregnancy until you went to the doctor and you had to get an ultrasound before abortion back in the day. So I wasn't pregnant a long time. We got to it fast at that time. However, they can still see that it's two. You don't have to like be far gone in the pregnancy for them to see that. So my mother said, make sure you tell them there's two in there. As I was headed back to the chopping block, which ain't really nothing but a cervical cleaning if you were to ask me. When you don't wait till it's like need to be put in a bucket like they be showing on some of them motherfucking poster boards when you go in that motherfucker. So my son's father has the bright idea to retract me and pump me with a baby to what I see is trapping me with my son who is now 13 years old. However, I didn't have my son until I was 34. And the only reason I didn't abort him because one, I didn't want to, and two, because his grandfather, which is my son's father's father, asked me to break some curses for him by having this seed. Break some curses off of his bloodline by having a seed with his son. I thought it was a noble thing to ask, because most people ain't asking no shit like that. In 2011, my son was technically, well, maybe if they asked me in 2010, between 2010 and 2011. My son was born in 2012. And I was just like, damn, are you for real? Most people ain't asking no shit like that. And to me, I saw it as a change. And I guess you say, I don't want to use generations. It's just something that you normally don't hear from somebody coming out of the crack epidemic and HIV and all that shit. So I was like, damn, okay, I'll see what I can do. So he was telling me, well, y'all can get artificial insemination and all this shit. And I'm like, no, I'm cool. I can have children. I don't need that. Well, yeah, because I was watching Atlanta Housewives, and he's an Aquarius, so they be visionaries. And I was watching Atlanta Housewives, and I saw where they be having the artificial insemination. I said, I don't need that, Mr. Evans. I can have children. It's not that I planned on it. I was actually cool with not having children. Because having abortions, they tell you when you go have one, you got to sign this waiver form. And the waiver form says that they're not responsible for any psychological damage that may ensue because you're doing this procedure. And a lot of women do suffer from thinking they can't have children because they had their cervix scraped, which to me is not a bad deal. It's like what they do to people when they have a miscarriage. They call it a DNC. And it's just scraping your uterus, which is getting the baby and all that stuff off of it, and you good to go and get the fuck out, like getting your teeth cleaned. It's just you getting your cervix cleaned, for real. So I, of course, fell into the bracket of the psychological bullshit where I just thought I couldn't have children no more because I had these abortions. And it fucked me up, and I had to do my work. And I couldn't be around children. if I go see a movie, I be crying and shit. It was real fucked up. So I had to go through Scientology, but I didn't find out about Scientology until shit. I may have found out about Scientology before I had my son. Yeah, because it was a problem for me. So I didn't find out about Scientology until I got pregnant in 94, 95, something like that. Didn't find out about Scientology till about 2000, maybe 9 or something. So I suffered for a little while where it was just a trigger to be around kids, like really bad. People wouldn't know it. I'm not going to hurt your children. I babysat children, all that shit. It just put me in a real deep, dark place. I don't deal with depression. So I'll say it put me in a dark place. And it would subside as I enjoyed the baby, playing with the baby. However, I had to get through it. I went to the movies, crying for anything with a baby. Sometimes I had to go hide if I saw people with a baby and it hit me wrong. Because I was so in love with this boy, and I thought we was going to be together forever. Oh, this is everything to me. So, thank God for Scientology and Dianetics that I was able to get rid of that fucking shit. And I said, if y'all motherfuckers basically can get rid of this shit, nigga, I'm gonna tell everybody. And they did. Because I went to the movies just to see if I was gonna cry. Went to see a baby movie, like The Last Airbender, something with a little baby, something dealing with a baby, a toddler, a 5-year-old, a child. And I sat through that motherfucker and then shed one tear, and I enjoyed the movie. I was like, what the fuck? Dianetics is the shit. And I'm telling everybody. Everybody, yeah. Because, baby, I was about sick of that shit. And they warn you on them motherfuckers. God damn. Oh, it's real. So after I got done with that shit, I was cool. I didn't give a fuck whether I would have a baby or not. I just want to get rid of this psychological bullshit connected to you thinking you can't get pregnant ever again in life because you had a fucking cervical cleansing. Ain't that stupid as fuck? I don't know what that is. Some seers, psychics say it's the souls of those children haunting you. I used to think that was bullshit. Nah, fuck that shit. Kind of shit. Now I would consider it. Which it would be my son that I got now. Like the two souls that came with me. You see what I'm saying? If I was to ask Billy, was that her and my son? It was. At the time I heard that, I thought that was a crock of shit. But you see, if I would have said that or people would have known that, and then I changed my thought because I have the capacity to do so, they would say I was contradictory. Ain't nothing wrong with contradiction. Contradiction shows growth. What you don't want to be is a fucking hypocrite. To say, had them abortions, but you a pedophile. So, tomato. Okay? So I think that some Gen Xers were envious of other Gen Xers that were able to ascertain wisdom from their youth and wait to have their children so that they can deposit wisdom in those children because they lost the opportunity by being disobedient to their parents and having children prematurely when they weren't ready. And I talked to some children that were born in the 90s from Gen X parents. And they told me that they think their parents did a bang up job. If you were to ask me, despite my father being taken away from our household due to crack cocaine, if how did baby boomers do, which was my parents' generation, I would say they did an excellent job. So it shows degeneration. To me, you don't have to talk to a whole bunch of motherfucking people that lived through a certain era to get the gist of what it's about. Because you got people that ain't shit, like I said previously, in every era, every generation, genre. It's true. You were disobedient. That's the bottom fucking line. And you get what you get. And another thing you can't do is obliterate your soul. Some people wish they could obliterate their soul because they link themselves up to a group that failed them. Whether it's their generation, whether it's their family, whether it's their friend group, whatever the fuck it is. Even though Aquarius, the age that we're now in, is kicking a lot of people's asses, is ruled by large groups and networks, it also rules individuality. So people will have to stand on their own 2 feet. Because you can go back and forth and blame all motherfucking day long. However, disobedience gonna get you what it gets you. So why even deal with the blaming bullshit? That's just a waste of fucking time. You just talking. When you could be working and cleaning up what you messed up by being disobedient. Because it's a mess more than likely. That's when you get sacrificed at. Because when you could be doing this, instead you gotta do that. You could be somewhere on the beach in Hawaii. You gotta be worried about your kids from your teenage years or your cum dumpster years or your player trying to be a pimp and a hustler years. For my generation, which is Generation X. They say, oh, you ragging on us. No, I'm telling the truth of the matter. Everything ain't make me look good. Some shit is just what it was. If you remember, fine. If you don't, you probably was smoking embalming fluid. Because that was also a popular drug outside of crack cocaine during my era, or, excuse me, generation. Dipsticks. Wet is another name. Some people call it PCP. So, you just say Google's your friend, bruh, Jay. However, sometimes it ain't. Sometimes you need somebody with a hell of memory that may or may not have access to American historical records. Statistics and whatnot. What actually happened. Thank God for the Dewey Decimal System. And Google my ass. face it so you can move the fuck on and maybe make it to a beach in Hawaii with your grandchildren, since you're an old ass man and an old ass lady now. So you see it. I used to say, damn, maybe I should have my children younger. Because boy, oh boy, did you need energy. And somebody gave me the best advice. My brother told me, because he had his daughter late in life, and he's a Gen Xer, despite popular opinion, because he's in the year 69. But one thing I was going to do is laugh. That's what he told me about parenthood. And I was like, okay, that's cool, but I laugh without one, because I was scared half to death to be responsible for a human life. How things change, because as a 15-year-old pregnant mother, I said, I got this. This is my man. We're going to be together forever. I love him so much. He loves me so much. We can take care of this baby. I'm keeping my baby. I'm going to keep my baby. So on and so forth. You know what I'm talking about? But as a grown ass man, dog, at 34, I'm struggling like a motherfucker. With my brother tell me I'm gonna laugh. This all this nigga got is that I'm gonna laugh. And then a friend from high school said, they keep you young. You don't know what time it is, kind of shit. Big Taurus Hierophant energy. I was like, thank you, God. Oh my God. Oh, that helped me. Thank you. Thank you. Because I was trying to understand what was really worth me having a black boy in a fucking third world country when it comes to killing them. And I'm going single mama way because ain't no way I'm staying married to this baby's daddy. How the fuck did I get here? Hey, what am I doing here? This is a true story. Why am I back with you? I prayed about this. Prayer really saves your life and it does change things. I have a personal relationship with Allah. And I do certain prayers and he answers expeditiously because clearly he has some type of connection to me. I don't know about your relationship. I said, this is my personal relationship with Allah. That when I pray a certain prayer, because I'm not a prayer warrior or a prayer warrior, I'm not about to be nowhere, even as a Christian, at altar call being the one that does the prayer. It's not my gift. Some people can pray their ass off. Excuse me. If I was at the black church or the First Baptist white church or the Pentecostal white church, some people can pray their ass off. That's not my lane. And I'm not a prayer warrior. I'm not about to worry a lot about certain shit. I'm just gonna handle it because he gave me hands, feet, and some more shit like a brain. So clearly, prayers of the righteous avail as much, but I ain't doing it to my own horn. And I don't see anything wrong with self-righteousness if it's done the right way, without the hypocrite after it. You know what I'm talking about? I'll take being self-righteous, because me, myself, I am a righteous person. Despite that I smoke marijuana, smoke cigarettes, and like a beer every now and then, or a shot of tequila to the face. Who cares? I'm grown, and God made it, and everything he made was good and very good. So he said. And so I agree. I second that emotion. Smokey Robinson. Sugar Ray Robinson. Uncle Ray. I love that little boy that played Uncle Ray in the movie Ray. I said Sugar Ray Robinson. I can't remember what his name was. He said it something like that. He must have hurt me. Because I do it all the time. For real. Some of y'all got high levels of anxiety. Excuse me. Back up. Or do something with it. Maybe go outside and take a walk. Some of you take your phone with you, can't you? Some of y'all need to walk it out instead of throwing it at me. Because if I throw it back, it may be God throwing it back to kill you. Anywho. He got me the fuck out of there as a teenager because I was ready to go because my stepfather was abusive and he was crazy as hell. He was a Pisces who didn't have the benefits of a two-parent household that started off as that, but shit happens. I tell anybody with a Pisces child, do not let their hand go. And if you find out you having one and you're going to be a single parent, you better figure out how the fuck you're going to stay at home so they can't be out of your sight. Because Pisces are sponges and they take on everybody's personality. And you may bring back home after the 12th grade a motherfucker with a multiple personality disorder because you weren't around as often as you should have been. But like I said, shit happens. So I end up back with this guy. That was my junior high school sweetheart. Having a baby during the height of assassination of the black male child. Fresh out of a Malcolm X organization. I wasn't happy at all. And yeah, it was a, nice thought for his father to ask me such, but he was serious. And he told him, because he's from Chicago, and he told him, you want, unbeknownst to me, he tells me this afterwards. This is how he knew we was having a boy. But he told me I couldn't handle a boy before I ever thought about having children or before I ever talked to his dad. And I was like, what? He was a seer too. He's a Pisces. I said, what makes you say, like, you saying I ain't strong enough or something? No, I'm not saying I just don't think you'll be, I don't think no boy, your speed. And she's like, I don't know about all that. And he was just talking candid, basically blessing my balls. Because he is a seer, so I would consider what he said. I wouldn't just not listening to him. I was really like, damn, bro. Like, really? So you just saying I'm girl material? Even though I would have preferred a girl rather than a boy because of the height of black male assassinations, no matter their age. Whether it was black on black crime or police brutality. I wouldn't, studying that. Because, baby, no. And he wasn't talking about that. He was just saying in general, I don't think no boy. I don't know if he might have been saying because of my age. You need a lot of energy for that. However, that's what he said. So he wasn't a dumb man, and he was a Pisces. They tend to be a little wise. Whether people give him their credit or not, it doesn't matter. So I didn't discredit what he said. It was just like, damn. You know what I'm saying? I was fucked up. However, let me think about this. So, I ended up finding out I was having a boy. And I cried. I cried about 15 minutes. Terrible. It was so terrible. Because what the fuck? So yeah, I'll pick up somewhere where I left off because I kind of zoned out on that. I did. Like, what the fuck? Baby during the height of this kind of shit. Yeah, I wasn't really thinking about. I hadn't talked to his dad for his dad to say that, but his dad had told him. He tells me. I don't know his dad told him. Well, now he told me himself, no boy for you. However, his dad is an Aquarius. He fixed. He's not. He. My son's father basically don't have a voice when it comes to his dad. Okay, yeah, sure. He can talk all he wants to. At the end of the day, whatever he tell him, he gonna do it, kind of shit. So he told him, this is some Chicago shit, I guess, because he told him to have sex with me like a squirrel, and he'd get a boy. He did it. It's the way you do it where you won't know that it's like a squirrel kind of shit. Like, you don't know until, you're pregnant, then you find out you have a boy, and then he hits you with this shit. Like, what? So what the fuck you gotta do to have a girl? And they say that when you have a boy, the woman did all the work. If you end up with a girl, the man did all the work. These are these little, fables, possibly. However, I did end up with a boy because his dad tells him this kind of shit and he listens. However, don't remember that his dad actually clearing his bloodline. He's a Pisces. They're the absent-minded professors. Very forgetful because they're very old. Remember people, though, because they're the collectors of them motherfuckers. I call them the soul collectors. I don't know why. It may be because they know they'll get multiple personality disorder and they want to check out everybody they was around to see who they actually are and merge that shit and become their true self. They're the oldest in the zodiac. Aries is the youngest in the zodiac. It's true. It takes a lot to master the sign of Aries. It really does. It ain't for everybody, but whoever Aries is an Aries. You gotta put in work to master that sign. Only Allah knows. The judgment of that sign, because that sign more than likely will fuck up their life a lot of lifetimes before they master themselves, because they're the youngest and they rule by the ego. So they got to make a hell of fool of themselves, a hell of fool of themselves a lot in order to get. Don't do that. And they rule childlike, like Leo. Not childish, childlike. Just a lighthearted energy. Plays around. Would be considered the fool card for real in tarot. They're the emperor though. So that could be the end result of them mastering themselves. But imagine that. In order to get to the emperor, you gotta make it. That's really anybody because 0 is 0, which is the fool card. However, Aries has to start at 0 to make it to the emperor. Virgo got to start at 0 to make it to the hermit or the magician. And that's the next one up. Gemini got to make it to the lovers. That's 6. Taurus 5, Hierophant. That ain't too bad. I wonder how, when they fix, you gotta get banged up some. You gotta get banged up a lot to end up there. That's not a long, it's not a long, long way up. It's really not. So you must get fucked up around about the Fool to the 3 to get you to the 5 to be a Hierophant. It's a big weight energy. And all 12 zodiacs can be whatever tarot it represents, whatever, because all this shit is in your birth chart any fucking way. Some people, I don't have Aries in my birth chart. I don't have Capricorn in my birth chart either. If it ain't in now, then, you know, you have to be like the 13th warrior, which would be somebody that's off the zodiac wheel. They just like, I guess you could say the orderliness of it, how you could play around with it, how you can be what they want to be, if they wanted to be that. It's like being the Fool card all the time. Nothing. So you could be anything. I don't know. The thing I'm asking God, this is just having a candid conversation because I ain't doing shit else. The thing I want to know, and Allah usually tells me when I always have a question that lingers, it's just that he got to get back to me when he got time. And he'll throw it to me, but it's just he be busy. Because I want to say that he don't know. And I'm just saying that because I want to know and he ain't answering me right now. So I mind fuck myself to say, you must know. Which is, how the fuck do you get rid of envy? Is it get rid of both? They say narcissism ain't psychologists, but I damn sure ain't listening to a psycho of God who created the mind of the psychologists. They're just limited in their knowledge as far as I'm concerned. Maybe one day God will reveal it to them and then they'll say, here it is. And I'll say, oh, it's no longer that. But then I will have a memory to remember that they used to say that and not Google. Because Google might lie and say it is curable out of nowhere. I said at one time they were saying it wasn't. Narcissism. It's true. I want to know, can you get rid of envy? Because it seems to be so terrible. And what Allah gives us in the Holy Quran is that we're supposed to take to Allah away from to get away from the envier when he envies. We're supposed to literally go to Allah to get protection from the envier when he envies. So if you gotta get protection from Allah, and like make sure you holler at him, cause this one, oh God, Allah seek protection from the envier when he envies, because this person is about to try to kill me possibly. You see what I'm saying? So do you think he know a cure? If he tell you to hurry up and get to him, if you come across a person that envies you, so he can protect you from that person. That's what made me say he don't know. He may though, because Allah is something else. I just have to wait. So I just talk like that, so I don't be just, coming up with some shit on my own. Because I have no clue. I ain't one of them motherfuckers that's going to be talking, telling you shit. If you say, can you get rid of envy? I'll be like, girl, I do not know. I'm waiting on the answer from Allah about that. I'm just going to go talking up shit just because you asking me. And go making up shit I do not know. I'm going to say, I don't know. I'm waiting on to hear from Allah to see how that dude is it shit. This shit out of control, girl. You know what I'm talking about? Boy, oh boy. Because how you envious at me? Because you was disobedient. Why are you doing all this? Why is it? It's unnecessary. Envy is unnecessary. It is. It's a weak ass emotion. It don't do nothing for you. Make it you put in jail. Or you might, I don't know, die from touching the wrong person because you was envious of them, and it backfire on it is your own demise in one way or another. Whether you die physically or your life just goes to the shitter and you can't recover. Because it's like the karma on it. Because I ain't got nothing to do with your envy. I'm just being myself. And you don't like me because I'm being myself. And some people say it's because how other people love you. What the fuck that got to do with me? I can't control someone's preference. Aesthetically even. Or if they think I'm humorous, or they want to hear what I gotta say because they get information, or they would see it as wisdom for themselves, or a tour guide through, God's earth. Other than that, I don't even know what the fuck all that is. You know what I'm saying? Envy. A weak emotion for dummies. It's crazy. Because they do some dumb shit with that shit. Because there's really somebody wanting to be you, but that's an impossibility. Because you can only be yourself. Like I was thinking you a lot. Like I was saying, people be wanting their soul to be obliterated because they realize they bought the lie of a group. And really, it's about individuality. They don't want to face that. Because that means they got to get to work on wherever their shortcomings are, or whatever they got to do for themselves, or be accountable for whatever decisions they made in life that seem like a drag. And you got to be creative if it's something that seems like it's just too hard or too much work, or you was set up, or somebody did some shit within the group and they didn't tell you it was going to be like this, like my nigga J. Cole sing about. Somebody should have told me it'll be like this, be like this, be like this. I think that song is hilarious. He is a crybaby on that song too. A military mind such as mine. And he's military minded. So you know I'm terrible. Because to me that sounds like, come on. You really thought they was going to tell you? Face it. Suck it up, buttercup. Ain't nobody really got to tell you nothing. If you was to look at it the way that would be more healthy for your growth and development. You gotta be realistic. Because them baby boomers, I'm trying to like really look into the situation. Those baby boomers had to deal with, just like today, it just seems like with them, they had a certain strategy or a certain way because of when they grew up. First of all, they got information that they withheld. That's a strategy. Because what you gonna do without knowing who you are or having certain history, so you're not doomed to repeat it. They good at withholding information on purpose. The baby boomers. And then they may tell somebody within their child's circle, whatever, however many children they had, they may tell somebody within that circle something. And they may tell somebody something else, and then they may tell somebody nothing. It's all strategic, though, from what I'm observing. Mm-hmm. Because you could have had 5 children or 3 children or 2 children as a baby boomer that was in Gen X, and they all decided to, well, let's say this, they all decided on whether or not they were going to be obedient or disobedient. So you could have had 5 children, 2 decided to be obedient, 3 decided to be disobedient, and you got to raise all of them under one umbrella. Not easy. Because in some generations, which would be their parents, and that's like the 20s and the 30s, you didn't have a motherfucking choice. Because they had fear and trepidation, low key, like you have for Allah, for their parents. So they just obeyed. They ain't even fuck around to find out. Came out way better if you was to ask me. Didn't be a rebel without a cause. You can break your neck, show enough. That shit. What y'all think? Honey back. For real. And then they had the audacity to think the ones that are envious that you ask Allah to protect you from. They think you got it easy, especially if you only got one and you had it later in life. And really, it's no such a thing, especially if you was raised in a household of disobedient motherfuckers. Because you're going to have to wait on them regardless. They're going to hold up something. I think those kind of people, where if your parent told you don't have that child and they have them anyway, I think those type of people, if you want to call them a couple or baby mama, baby daddy, they said, we gonna have these kids, kind of shit. They could have been twin flame motherfuckers. I think they are narcissists. Because they take up a lot of time. If either of them had siblings that were obedient, they're inconsiderate kind of people. I said I was considerate of my mother. That's why I was obedient. Because I consider she had to pay the bills. You know, she may have to babysit sometimes because something happened to his sister or his mother. I mean, I was considering my mother. I just wasn't considering myself and how it would work out in the short term. I looked out a little bit down the line, you know. And this shit may fall on my mother. I ain't trying to do that because I like to hear her mouth. I ain't trying. I think it'd be working best for us. I just go there and listen to what the fuck she's saying and go there and handle this little business. What came of it? Attacks from my children. Awesome. Why you ain't how? Why would you do that? We was trying to get there. But see, then that means I possibly could have had inconsiderate children. But you see how that would have ended up sacrificial for me? I decided to be obedient to my mother, which would be my mother would come from behind me and say, I said she needed to wait. And she would be talking to my son right here, right now. The other one ain't here. I couldn't swing it. Because my mother said. And he would say, oh, okay. My mommy was just being obedient to you, Grandma. Well, yeah. Oh. I might have gave my mother a nervous breakdown if I would have came in the 90s. I might have died and had to come back anyway with all that was going on. That would be my son talking, possibly. If he would have think it over. Because for some reason, your children be thinking you got something up your sleeve. Or you ain't telling them the whole story kind of shit, depending on who got their ear. Because people will pit your child against you. That's another thing that's toxic as hell that need to stop. Since we're doing this bad blood series. And the sucker shit that you need to get out your DNA. Problem is all that sucker shit inside your DNA. Jellyfish, Kendrick gazed or gauged. Backbone don't exist. That's what Kendrick said. He said his expertise checked out into 2nd grade. When did y'all expertise check out? Meaning you was hip to what was going on. He said it's because of, L, is his name L Sigmund something? I don't know. It's a black occultist, if you will. You might as well say alchemist, but he's one of our black ancestors that was wise, that talked about children that was born during the crack era, that was born with crack in their system. They ain't have to be a crack baby. No. Let's just say crack was in the water and it was getting in our skin. In America. This is real. Sigmund L something. I don't know. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I can never get his name right. He like the other ancestor that don't let me know his name either. Like Trickster Energies or something. Or they just can't stand people no more, so they don't want you to know their name because you might call on them and they ain't never heard you because they got sick of this kind of shit. Usually when they don't let you remember their name. He said that basically 80s babies or whenever crack people, the babies like Kendrick, they were like transformers more than meets the eye. Basically, they were going to be some of the leaders or the rulers of this time frame. You don't want to fuck with them. It was just prophecy because of the crack in their systems and them being around during that time. I was a cocaine baby, so we different. I don't know what people say about that. I don't. I got it directly out of my father's sperm. So, he was talking that and he was talking in the water. I'm just talking directly from my father's sperm. Because some people was doing something else during that time. They could have been doing heroin or some shit. I don't know. It wasn't just strictly cocaine, though. It could have been a lot of people smoking marijuana. He was born in the 40s, 1940. Do y'all know y'all father's birth and stuff like that? There's some shit you gotta know, man. You gotta know about yourself. To know about your ancestors is to know about yourself. How you know everybody else's business but don't know about yourself? Because I'm gonna tell you one thing like this. Them baby boomer motherfuckers, they do not tell you shit on purpose. It's a way to basically teach you, fuck you. You ain't wanna know kind of shit. We taking this shit to the grave. And you ain't no motherfucker that channel no way. So fuck you. You ain't gonna give us no food or nothing. That's how they think. That's how some black ones think. The white ones, they real dirty. The white ancestors, they stick their white children with racism. Because they know they ain't gonna do nothing to get it out of their DNA, which would be that sucker shit. So they tell them some shit about black people that keep them racist, and then they may body jump them to make them do it or pray that they do it, which is to say something real crazy out their mouth that they taught them about black people, but they don't be racist. They just know that shit in their bloodline, and they ain't got nobody that's gonna do it because they be privileged. You know what I'm saying? They be done worked hard for them to live a good life. They ain't about to do nothing to get this shit out of our DNA. So we about to leave them with. They have a dinner. No, this is real. The older ones, they real dirty. They'll get them around the dinner table and tell them some shit like all black people on welfare. This is real. Do that shit to their children and leave them with it when they die. They got that shit in their head. And they buy it because it came from their father. But their father do it like a cruel joke. So they'll be looking at black people. It don't matter if you got a mink dragging the flow. Their father told them all black people on welfare. And they pray they say it to somebody that ain't never been on their shit. Because they know that's a possibility. They should do their homework kind of motherfuckers. Yeah, they pray they do so they can get their ass whooped. At least it would get it going. When somebody may say, you know what? We need to work on this shit. What if he lied to us? Start thinking this shit. This is real. Oh, yeah. I hang out with the old people. I channel what y'all would consider old people. Old people is older than your ass. How old is you? I'm talking about old as fuck. Just another brother, Moses. I prefer. Because they be having all the goods. Wisdom. How bad do you want it kind of motherfuckers, though? So, you don't deserve to have to go through initiations and shit like that to get the information that they got. It's just that they make you because you have to suffer along with these motherfuckers that was disobedient. That's why I see it. You see what I'm saying? Inconsiderate motherfuckers. Like you ain't got shit to do. You ain't the one that was disobedient. You ain't the one that ain't willing to listen. And you don't want to be a leader. You just want information, not to fall in ditches, so that have information to teach your children and grandchildren to pass down so they don't fall in ditches. And fuck leadership right now. Because I ain't never wanted to be one. Did y'all? If you did, your motherfucking ass don't know your daddy's birth year. You need to get on top of things. Let me tell you something. At least. When you looking at that nigga on Facebook birth chart, you looking at your motherfucking daddy's birth chart, because they got juice. And they just be waiting. Trying to tell you. For real. Everybody, y'all know what Beyonce say? Check my technique. Or check the technique. Technique. Everybody got their technique. I'm trying to tell you. Race, age, group, gender. Everybody got to peep my technique. Kind of shit. I'm trying to tell you. The blacks withhold information. The whites tell them some outdated shit to get them beat up so they can at least start thinking, so they can get the shit out of their DNA. Because they know damn well God made everybody. Kind of shit. I don't know what this trick bag was. But they should be over it by now. And they're going to be getting demerits like a motherfucker. If somebody don't work out these problems, kind of shit, they dirty. For real. For real. You wouldn't be surprised. I used to work with this girl. Her dad was dirty like that. He told her all black people was on welfare. For real. And he was a captain of a police department. They used to sit around a table, and so she was fucked up. She really bought everything they were saying. She was like, I just don't understand. You're not you. They told her, we don't take a bath. We don't take a bath. We all on welfare. And I'm like, that don't really sound right, because you're the one that's always wearing a motherfucking brown corduroys. The fuck? She was like, I know, right? She's like, because you and my friend that was working there with me at this particular, it was a Sally's Beauty Supply, and she was like, yeah, because you guys are always smelling so good, and you always change your clothes. Like, yeah, some sound fishy. You may want to get to work. Because I think they just selling you shit. She's like, I felt so bad. Because she went to Akron University. So she was like, I feel so bad because my dad is blah, 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 blah. And I never get pulled over because she was a stoner. She smoked hella weed. But she said all her black friends at Akron she used to sneak out black friends. She was sick of these racist dinners. All my black friends, they're always getting pulled over, and I always have way more weed than them. But I know the reason I'm not getting pulled over is because of my dad being the captain of blah, 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 and because I'm white. I'm like, oh, girl. They playing a dirty game with you, baby. You got a long road ahead. However, at least we got to the bottom of not every black person is on welfare, and not every black person don't shower, okay? Kind of shit. For reals. At least we saw that Scooby-Doo mystery. You know, that's a fucking lie. You ahead of a lot of people, Becky. You're using your brain. This is really good. By the time you have your kids, you can tell. You can tell they fucking ass. Black people wash our ass, and not all of us are on the welfare. We are making strides around this bitch. Ooh, I'm going to tell you some of the conversations in America and eat back. They be going, I don't know. A nigga like me, we about to get to the bottom of this. For real. Because it get me, baby. And her father was real ignorant. He came up to the store and they did some old West Side Story shit. Like, what? You really taking it there? Yeah, okay. And just start knocking shit off the shelf. like a corny movie where they're trying to intimidate the black person. I was like, what? I worked at a hair school and I sold them. I only won $500 for racism, discrimination, and they did it on purpose. For real. My boss at the time did it on purpose. Gave me a fucking magazine. They knew that I was a maverick of sorts. Because they told them, come and be, you talking this Jesus shit. Kind of shit. You ain't walking none of that shit. Don't come to me with that bullshit. They was a brother and sister duo. She was a cowgirl and he was a cowboy. White. I ain't lying. For real. They used me to help them get that sucker shit out their DNA. Don't think they won't do it. Yes, the fuck they do. You gotta beat their technique. Oh, yeah. Yes. Jamaicans may call that come test me now. Cause why the fuck would you give me some magazine with this shit in here about a black person in it? What the fuck kind of racist ass shit? I took it to an attorney. They told me I had a case. I knew I would. They just had run out of money. But boy, if I would have got them when they had it. Cowboy, cowgirl played me to the left, because they knew they was about to close down this establishment. But before they go, you help us out with this little bullshit we got going on. People be trying to get the goods that they ancestors got for them, but they don't know how to get rid of this sucky shit in their DNA that's keeping them trapped in a certain tax bracket even. Real talk. This is America. Make it you slip it down. Look how you tripping down. Police be tripping down. For real. Y'all better get with the program kind of shit. What the fuck y'all think this is? Talking about racism ain't never going nowhere. Bitch, where you live at? You better wake your ass up. Motherfuckers got white babies that's originally black. I mean, all kind of shit. For real. Black people adopted white babies that's originally black. They just decided to come white and get this black. People be doing all kind of shit because low-key they be having the leverage to, because somebody do the work. It could be, that's what I want to really hone in on, because a lot of times we focus on the people that don't do the work, but there's some motherfuckers out here that do the work. And they be having leverage to spend shit a certain type of way and be able to do all kind of stuff because they do their work. So it leaves them room to do stuff that you would consider fun if you was doing it or different. For real. All families ain't fucked up. All families ain't lazy and throw shit on their other family members being inconsiderate. All families don't have couples in it that are narcissists, that hold up the line, where everybody talking about them all the time, while other people, like my nigga Glow, Jay-Z mama, she a Virgo. Y'all know on that song she say, on his rap song at the end, she say, living in the shadows. She talking about that kind of shit. Somebody that just takes center stage in the family. They that messy. They name always popping up. They kids always the one doing this, that, and the third. And it be other people in the family. The people don't even know got some type of gift, skill, or talent, brilliant, children brilliant, ain't never met them, got lost in the sauce, living in the shadows. Because this particular couple or these particular couples are the only ones that's talked about, and they the messiest. They don't do no work. They swap destinies with their sisters' husbands and shit. I'm talking terrible as fuck. This is roots. This about bad blood. This about trifling. Now, mind you, it's the first time for everything. So the families that I'm saying is dope as fucking don't have those problems because they do their work. If they did their work, possibly something was wrong, right? They more than likely had narcissists people in their family, motherfuckers, pedophiles, all kind of shit. They just worked through it, got rid of that sucky shit. So they get the benefits of it. And then guess what? You have a family struggling with that shit and look over at that family. Now they sitting there on envy. That's more work. Now we really stuck in the mud of civilization as a family. You see this? Who's sticking around for that shit? That's when you say, oh, I ain't an idolater. I'm getting the fuck out of here. And you gotta let God know, I ain't an idolater, Allah. This is a little bit too much for me. However, I am realistic when it comes to knowing I cannot obliterate myself as a soul. However, I will not be charged with idolatry of a family that can't seem to get it together. You hear me? And he'll give you a fair hearing about it and free you from the slaves. Oh, yes, he will. Especially if you was obedient. And you recognize you ain't never about to just be stuck like that, waiting on people to stop being ignorant and envious and all this other trash. And then they keep compounding shit on top of shit because they're inconsiderate and they take for granted that there are other people coexisting with them on a tree of deep roots. Look at a tree and look at the roots on that motherfucker. So you got to respect families that did their work and continue to do their work because roots ain't no joke. Getting rid of the rotten shit, get cutting out shit so it can continue to thrive and grow properly. That is not a game. You don't want to go spitting venom at names like Walton that are buying up abandoned cities, not buildings, cities, and making them inhabitable for workers and people that are retailers in a particular establishment. Because you may get a backlash on it and then go deeper in the fucking mud of civilization with the roots you got where nobody does the work. Do you see how deep this shit is? Why I cuss? Why I say, man, you better shut the fuck up and get the fuck away from me? Why I don't think shit funny? Why I know not to laugh when it ain't no motherfucking joke being presented, no motherfucking. Why I don't play games? Cause games been over. And so it's playtime. It's very true. So this is my advice to some of y'all. And be mindful of envy and seek refuge in Allah from the envier when they envy, because they don't know how to get rid of it. However, that doesn't stop it from being utilized by them. They can't help it because they don't know what to do with it. They could be underdeveloped souls. They could be souls that are old but thought they could just have sex and that's it, and not really work on their inner being. So shit adds up, piles up. You're responsible for yourself. And you cannot obliterate yourself as a soul. You have to do your work. There's no getting away from it if Allah doesn't decide to obliterate you as a soul. This is the only, I don't want to say person, but let's just say person for the lack of a better English word or term when it comes to Lord of all the worlds, God of all creation. You say the Most High nowadays, the Supreme Being, the one who said, be. People gotta think about it. Was it heavy or something? I'll let it marinate. He's the only one that can obliterate you. You can't obliterate yourself. That's what the Bible say. Fear not man who is only able to kill the body. Fear God who is able to kill the body and the soul. What verse or chapter is that, young doctors? Because it's in there. Fear not the man that is able to kill the body. Fear God who is able to kill the body and the soul. So you gotta get to work. If you ain't dead yet, or obliterated. It's just true. I'm sorry that this is what you got to look at, but whatever. I helped my parents to avatar into seahorses. People would say, she just talking, she can't do that. She's schizophrenic. What the fuck do schizophrenic have to do with me avataring my parents into two seahorses so they can get away when they need to get away from drags with this roots shit where people don't do their work on my mother's side of the family? Or when they get to envy and they try to pull on them or usurp energy from them even in death. Don't tell me what's not possible with God. You ain't God enough to tell me that. You ain't. I don't give a fuck who you are. I don't give a fuck who your kids is. They'll get fucked up. Because they think you God. And you ain't even that, some people. You're just a man. My father was a God, but he ain't Allah. I worship Allah. And I love my dad. And if my dad did anything worthy of worship, I would give him a round of applause. Honoring thy parents, and giving honor to where honor is due, or whom honor is due. But, or however, Allah is the only one worthy of worship. It's just true. And I like what Osho say that you should worship excuse me, your divine mate. And if Allah said Lamia, that is conjecture. Astaghfirullah. That is haram, Lamia. I'll say, well, let me show you how I agree with Osho. I don't know. I just think it's a nice gesture, seeing as though male and female fight like cats and dogs, don't get along no more, and it seems like it was a bad idea for you to give them help. It's just the extreme of something that seems like it went bad or did go bad when it actually was a beautiful gesture on your part, Allah. And it was very thoughtful, and it showed your love for man. Whoever dropped the ball, I don't know. However, I think that if you got two people that really loved each other and it was reflective of your idea and your kind gesture to man, that they should be able to worship in the way that they do their woman or their man, while keeping in perspective that you are the only one worthy of worship, though. So that's why I agree with Osha. When you make it make sense to Allah, you usually don't get slapped down for idolatry. All right, y'all, I'm about to get up out of here. I don't think I have anything more to say, and I don't want to pop tarot. This is just a series seemingly of bad blood because I didn't come to these people's residence to fuck around and just fuck around. I came here to work, and I don't get paid, which is a problem for me. However, we'll see what Allah can do for me, because man been ain't shit. And God's is tired of man, not Allah. Oh, like